Good afternoon, it's Friday and, well, the weekend is upon us. Um, yeah. Yeah, it is. So, when we left off yesterday, we had kind of breached the 24-inch mark, and, well, we're about to embark on another big motif. Now, I haven't done any pricking today. Maybe I'll do some after stream. I got kind of, I have been feeling a little better, and I have found myself caught up in things. So, like I showed you yesterday, that little game thing that I started, haven't actually done anything with it, but I've been playing around with a few things, trying to set up a few kind of back end parts that no one in the world will ever see, that will make my life a bit easier. I've just noticed something on my cushion. It looks like someone's left. Looks like something's left a skid mark. Not that kind of skid mark, but there's a mark on it. So let's clean that up. There we go. Before I show you, because I know how much it was reflective as well, so it kind of it would have stood out a bit. So yeah, it's But I played a bit of game. I've watched a lot of Sabrina this morning. And I am finding some joys. Now, I'm not going to say immense joys, but a few things have been really good. I've watched, as I said yesterday, I've watched some good films and some good stuff. The Residence, which is a short series, was really, really good. I enjoyed that. And I actually genuinely mean I enjoyed that. It wasn't it was alright. I actually enjoyed that. So I do feel somewhat more myself. But we are here to make some lace. So let's see where we've got to. Hello. I apologise that the little chat from yesterday is still left on there. It's because I didn't shut everything down. Hello. So, let's finish off this bit, I guess. So, how are you both? Oh, 3 of you, actually. Sorry, Nick. Oh. On the bottom of my screen, you can see the chat from yesterday. Hence, it talks about alcohol in ice cream. Yeah. Yeah, I need to get a bit more productive stuff done. I really, really do. I need to not sit and procrastinate quite so much. I am very good at that. I don't know about you, Fluce, I really, really don't, but I am an exceptional procrastinator. I like plan lots of things to do, and then, well, I've planned lots of things to do, and I never quite get around to actually doing any of them. It's a bit like the kid eating it, shuffling stuff around on their plate. Fair enough. I find that it's very much like the kid who doesn't want to eat something, and they move it around their plate, and they cut it up, and they put that over there, and I'll eat that with that, and then, well, that doesn't quite happen, so... Oh no! You can't have a burn hole in your table. That's not how it's supposed to work. don't know about you guys, but I often find that I find this especially at night. So in the morning, time moves fairly slowly. Come the afternoon, depending on what I'm doing, the time can kind of Did you put your plastic melter on it face down and forget about it? But yeah, I find that time in the afternoon, I'm aware of it passing much quicker, but it will go in like leaps and starts. So you think, right, I'll do that in 5 minutes, and you blink and you fart and 2 hours have gone by and you're like, it was like 5 minutes, where did that go? And then it slows down for a bit because you're really thinking about it, and then, right, okay, so I'll have this for tea. It's getting near tea time, we'll need to do that in a minute. You look at something like, you read a news article, and again 2 hours has passed and you're like, I haven't eaten yet. But hello, Sugar Bear, hello. And then of course, later at night, you look at the clock and you go, oh, it's a bit later than I thought. Never mind, I'll just, I'll do this and go to bed. And now it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you have no idea how it got there. Because 2 minutes ago it was 9 o'clock at night. Oh no! No! Oh no! Oh no! Seriously, get yourself something that can take the heat. Goodness gracious! What would you have done if that had then gone through it? Would it have found carpet and set light to the place? I mean, what ifs are always exactly that. They are only what ifs, but One of the things I find about living alone is the what ifs. Because I love living alone, generally. Really, really do. Absolutely love it. However, there are times when you sit there and go, yeah, it's not a great idea. Yeah, simple does melt quite a lot easier. Yeah. But, I told the story of when I bust my knee and all the rest of it, and I thought I was going to die stuck in the doorway with my foot wedging me in. Well, it's that kind of thing that makes you realise how bad living alone can be. Because, there I was, naked as the day I was born. And, well, if I had physically never managed to be able to move from there, I would have had a very painful, starving to death, probably being eaten by the dogs almost immediately kind of demise. It would have been really quite unpleasant. And it is. There is that bit of you that kind of goes, because, obviously, I've got friends and stuff, but if they don't hear from me for a few days, they're not, some of them are used to not hearing from me for weeks. So, we just have that kind of relationship where we pick it up when we get, when we're good and ready. And it's like there hasn't been a break. But at the same time, it can be a number of months without direct contact. So, it is, And you just, you know, so as you're lying there thinking, I could die like this, it's a bit of a sobering thought. And as a result, you know, the whole kind of what if scenario is something that I do occasionally think of, because it is the, well, what if, you know, if you slip down the stairs kind of thing. What if I had fallen down the stairs and knocked myself unconscious? What would have happened then? Would anyone have known? And the answer is, well, no. And unless the dog started barking and my neighbours wondered what was going on and came to see, because they're not used to, you know, listening to them bark too much. But the chances are, these two would just curl up next to me and go to sleep. Because they're useless like that. They'd hardly run out in the garden alerting everybody. So yes, please do take some care. That little bit of thought, that little bit of extra thought is very easily forgotten. I do know that, though. You know, it seemed a good idea at the time and all that. I mean, you'd taken some precautions, just not enough, you know. But the weekend is here, so it's always a good thing. I borrowed some of you, didn't I? 2, 3, 4. I borrowed 3 of you, which is great because that's you 3. I mean, you go in there like that, and then you can all go that way. Alexa, what's the temperature on the downstairs thermostat?
The downstairs thermostat temperature is 23 degrees.
I thought it was warm. Oh no, you burnt the bottom of your crucible. Did you make a hole in it? Because you don't know what's going to come next if you did. Oh, you cracked it. Okay. If you'd made a hole in it, I might actually have sung "There's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza." So. Have you not heard that? You must have heard "There's a hole in my bucket." Yeah. Goodness me. Yeah. This isn't the tune that I am used to, but there you go. It's close enough. I can't believe it. Of all the people not to know, you've just told someone called Elizabeth officially that there's a hole kind of thing in the bottom of your bucket. And you're the only one who doesn't know the song. Oh, my dear friend. Oh. See, I'm definitely feeling a bit more me. There is some joy in my life. Oh, heck. Okay, let's cheer you up with distracting you with... Does that help? Blimey. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to my Friday Madness. How was your stream? Twitch has died on me. no. Do you mean dropping as in it kind of kept panning down, or it just kept farting and not doing things? That doesn't look right. I have missed a hole. I used the wrong hole, that's why. Nah. I spent ages, and I do mean ages, configuring so that you guys can move my camera. Now you can only move it so far because, well, obviously it's a fixed base camera and it's only got so much room of movement that it can do. It can do a little bit of this and a bit of this and in and out and whatever, and you can control it. And almost the day I finished doing it, something changed on my computer and it didn't, and it, bear in mind, the camera and my Stream Deck are made by the same people, so it's not like an incompatibility and someone's updated their API and not the other one. Same company. And literally kind of overnight, it stopped working. More calls. I noticed they never actually came back to me. More calls. They kept saying, well, have you reinstalled it? If can you reinstall it? Can you reinstall it? Can you reinstall it? It's like, I have reinstalled it 12 frigging times now. If you can tell me what will be different this time, I will reinstall. But until there is something different, we've done this. It does not help, right? And they immediately kind of went quiet and never came back. But it started working again. Because I worked out what was wrong with it. And the answer is, they, like everybody, so I say everybody. I had a... Yeah, it's the kind of problem I have, especially after Windows updates. And the problem I had with my camera was, and I'd had it similarly with something else, and I can't remember what the something else was, but in essence, irrelevant of the fact that your machine has potentially one or more network connectivity options. So let's just go with wired and Wi-Fi, right? And whether you're using them or not, both of them exist, and one of them will be in a kind of down state. The problem is if you have more than one network and it's not down, but it's not up either, what was happening is instead of using the built-in routing system, so computers have a bit like a sat-nav, and when you say, I need to get to London, it knows that London, you need to get on this major road, and off it goes. So it goes down to your ISP and sends it on out, and the internet kind of keeps heading it in the right direction. This is known as routing, right? And, well, why use the built-in routing when you can do it yourself, seems to be the name of the game. So, instead of going, I had 2 network cards. The first network card is maybe some local thing, so virtual machines, a VPN to somewhere else. Actually, a VPN would be a bad example because they tend to take ownership of your routing. But, I've got two networks maybe, Wi-Fi and thing, and maybe they're different networks. So instead of going, this is my main way out to the universe, it decides, I'll take the first one. Well, if the first one is a different network, which it likely is if you've got different cards, well, maybe the thing it's looking for isn't on that network. I.e., if you look for your own phone number in a phone in the shop, for example, it's not going to find it because it doesn't know you. It doesn't know you from Adam. And so if it can't, it's not going to know where to send it. It doesn't know how to deal with it because it's not connected, so it doesn't know who you are. And all of this stuff is perfectly normal, and your computer handles it all the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they were picking a network card, probably the first one, and deciding that that must be the one to use, bypassing all of the lovely APIs and stuff that come with your operating system, irrelevant of which operating system it is, they've all got them, that handle it all for you. Now, I've run into something similar at work, which is that lots of operating systems have an option that says, tell me which user this is. Tell me if this user exists. Tell me if this host name is available. Tell me if connect to this host on this port. All these things are built in. No! Oracle decided to rewrite that. So instead of going connect to server 123, it goes to the file where you store where to go and look up the numbers and goes, right, I will contact the server, I will go and get the number, I will then go and contact that number direct. So it has to have access to a whole pile of stuff that it shouldn't directly access, because it shouldn't need to know. It's a bit like, if you pay me through PayPal, you do not need to know my bank details. You just get told, here is, send it to here, and the money will arrive. And, you know, you wouldn't get my bank details and then send it by PayPal. It's just not the way that it usually works. I mean, I think you can, but as I say, it's not the way we usually use, how we use PayPal. And so Oracle have been, you know, reworking and reinventing a wheel that has been around for, frankly, almost longer than they have. So there really is a little bit of a kind of, yeah, don't need to be doing that, don't need to be doing that. And so my camera suffered that kind of problem, is that obviously someone in some code somewhere who had reinvented a wheel that works perfectly well so other things work, because obviously if nothing worked, I'd have rebuilt my computer, wouldn't I? But so it was only this thing that wasn't working, and both pieces of software were working individually. So if I logged into the camera app, if I opened the camera app, it would let me move my camera. It could see it to do it. OBS could see my camera. It was reporting a picture. That was fine. But the moment I said to Stream Deck to use my camera app and move my camera, oh no, there's no camera app running. Well, there is. No, you don't have a camera app. And I could see, and I could find all of their log files, because I'm a boring weirdo and I look for things, found their log files, and I could see constantly trying to connect to an IP address and port number. And nothing was listening on that port number. So I told them that, and they kind of got a bit weird, because obviously they don't normally speak to people who actually can't, they just normally go, it's not working. And I kind of went, and they went, it must be in use. And I went, here are the ports in use. No, it's not in use. It's trying to connect to the wrong one. It's on this port. How can you reset which port it should look on? And they never answered it. They never came up with an answer. But, can you stop making slurping noises that loud? Jesus, dog. It's like having a cement mixer in my ear. But yeah, so they'd reinvented the wheel, which is why it wasn't working, because, well, if they'd just used the shit that was there, it would have worked. So when I uninstalled Docker, it all started working. Which is a bit shit, really, because Docker's useful. Never mind. Search his life. So yeah, you can zoom in and zoom out and move around and do all sorts of things. And the commands are there. But it was just so annoying that the very day I'd fixed it, and I was so pleased with myself, it stopped working. So I now actually have a test at the beginning of my stream, which enables and disables the commands. Oh look, ad starting in a minute. What a happy day that is. Hearing must be off today. Yeah, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. Bear in mind, my job is a Unix administrator, so, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely understand that. I feel like you're making a lot of noise, dogs. Do you know what? I've run Linux now for shit me. Best part of 37 years, something like that. Maybe more. Yeah, something like that. Hang on. I'm not having a good maths day, so let's not. Yeah, 36, 37. I had one of the very first kernels, and in fact, I actually wrote a bug fix for one of the very first early kernels. I think it was 0.21 I wrote a bug fix for. But I wrote the code and fixed it. Hurrah for me. But I have never got on with Red Hat. It is my job right now, looking after a bunch of Red Hat boxes. But it doesn't mean I like it. I don't have a problem with Red Hat per se. I mean, I do feel it's a bit cheeky that someone else writes all the software and they flog support, but all they really do is kind of, in the good old days, do the equivalent of go to UUNet and go, why is it not working? And rely on someone else to fix it. Because it's not like they write it now. Hey, Neck Kisser. And, well, the problem I have the most is the fact that they've written a load of scripts so that instead of going into rc.d and putting in a script file that says do my networking, that says assign address this to ETH0 or get it from DHB, assign this routing to just, you know, all just there it is, 5 lines of code, job's good, right? No, you've got a file here and a bit there and a maybe over here and a, can we not, Red Hat? Because I remember when there was a great bash hack and if bash couldn't be updated it had to be removed, and well, I didn't do it but someone did. Someone decided to remove bash, and of course as Red Hat starts up, half of its scripts are bash, aren't they? So now none of its starting scripts work, so nothing worked. And you're like, oh yeah, because you took, you know, it's like wondering why your car's not working when you took your wheels off. Oh, well, how do we get it back? Fortunately, I had a similar version of Linux at home and bought in a copy of Bash and it worked. And it was kind of like, you gotta be kidding, dudes. Really? You didn't think about that one? You know, if it'd been any other shell, if it'd been KSH or anything, that's optional, that's fine. But Bash is kind of like fundamental in Linux. It's kind of... Don't be so stupid and delete it. And not expect issues. And pull the surprise face when it does. And mind you, that was quite a long time ago, but principle applies. So how's NetKisser? Oops. Yay! Yarn! Everybody likes yarn. Where's that gone? Oh, there it is. So, I had a thought the other day, and I bought more yarn too. Now, this is cheap yarn, do not get me wrong, but I distinctly wanted cheap yarn. Oh, absolutely. I mean, as a whole, you wouldn't buy yarn if you didn't have a using it at some point potential hobby. You may not actually get round to it, but you would be capable of a yarn using hobby. But at the same time, they are two very much distinctly different events. The ability to buy yarn and the ability to use yarn are very different. Might not be enough. Okay. Yeah. I must admit, the fear of yarn chicken is a very big one for me. And I would rather almost buy double the amount I need so that should I need more, I've got it, than fall short. Especially with anything with dye lots. Anything with dye lots, dear God above. Which is most things, let's truly be honest. Because you don't need to get, you know, halfway through a jumper and have like half of one sleeve in a entirely different variant of the same colour, you know? And you're buggered if you're going to be undoing it and try and make dual tone sleeves for the other, you know, redo both sleeves so you can have dual tone as you go. No. Yeah, that's always a bigger problem. When you know that you can't get more no matter how much. Even if you needed like 1 metre. Fair enough. How big's your blanket going to be? Slightly important information. You're talking to the girl who makes king-size bed spreads, so, you know, you won't scare me with the size of blanket, I can assure you. Fair enough. Ooh, kitty. Lazy kitty. Yeah, I mean, one thing that did actually surprise me a lot was that I tended to... I've done it again. Stupid witch. Let's undo all of this, shall we, children? Because we don't... That's fair enough. I mean, I did a lot of mine, my blankets as Tunisian, and I will say that as doing them as part of Tunisian, it is really easy. I found that I could do even a picture one in kind of... I mean, I'd have to, you know, kind of go for it, but I could do it in as little as 2 or 3 weeks, which I found quite surprising, considering how long it seems to take me to do anything else. So, and why are we undoing this, children? Well, we're undoing this because I'm a muppet, and these are not a spider. These are individual. Because I'm stupid. But yeah, I found it really surprising how quickly I could make one of my picture blankets, irrelevant of how complicated it was almost, just because it's a really nice, easy to do way of thinking, especially with Tunisian, because you don't have to turn it round and you don't end up with that big ball of everything sitting in the middle of your lap. It's also why I learnt to knit backwards, exact same reason, so I don't have to turn things around. Makes it a lot easier as well, because then your yarns don't get twisted. It's just so much easier. You just pick up your project and you knit or crochet and go for it. I think, as the sun is out, we should have some music. Let's go with some music. Poo. Stop you listening to that. Plug you into that, and I fancy first of all, I want to listen to one of these. How can the same song be in here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times by the same artist. It's not even like someone redid it. Exactly the same one. How am I supposed to know which is the original? Oh. And they're not even all the same freaking length. Let's listen to this first, okay? Bite me. This song got stuck in my head for ages and I couldn't remember what it was, because I could only remember the very beginning. This bit. Didn't remember any of the words. was I watching? Oh, it was Doctor Who. And while obviously it's a French name, so go with it. But it was the one where he's up in space, obviously, and him, Mickey, and Rose have all landed on the spaceship Madame de Pompadour, and they've blasted holes back in to try and steal her brain. And her first name is Renette. Well, you never hear anyone called Renette these days, do you? So there are lots of names that kind of come and go. Biblical ones tend to stay. So Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, Rebecca, or Rachel, Mary, those kind of names tend to stay. Although Mary's kind of gone off the boil a bit. But it is quite surprising, actually, how names do come and go. Yeah, and the number of kids suddenly called Harry, you know, because someone had read Harry Potter, you know. But yeah, no, you don't hear of Lancelot. I know it was a joke, but it is also semi-true, so. Done that, you stupid woman. You got stuck on a loop or something? Someone kick the record player. Thank you. No, don't fall over. warm in here. Doesn't feel right. Yeah, it is. Hang on. No. Confused now. So yeah, you're right. Maybe the last one's wrong. Yeah. No. That was right. Just doesn't look it. Okay. Under. Over. Under. Got it wrong somewhere. What am I doing wrong? That doesn't feel right either. I've gone wrong somewhere. I think that's where I went wrong somehow. Back here. I can't see. I'm not sure where you're from. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You're supposed to be from there. But you got lost along the way, I think. Whew. Jesus, it's so hot in here. By the way, it was at least 23 on my internal temperature thing. I'm not dreaming, nor am I dying of something contagious or having a hot flash. It is actually hot in here. Because as you can see, right at the top it says current 23 degrees. It's quite warm in here. That looks better. Except I've got too many. Oh no, you're just hanging on, that's why. Phew. That wasn't that hard work. Goes to show what happens when your brain tries to think too hard. Is it that time already? Blimey. Oh, my knees. Oh, blood in my feet. Days like today when I do feel old, you know. Going to take 5 seconds to let the blood return to my feet. I'm not in the mood for brass. Yeah, but at least it's reusable. To be honest, most hobbies are pretty messy. Yeah. Every time I make one of the little flowers for this, there's a long bit and a short bit. And that's the ones that work. When there are ones that don't work, well, then there's chunks, you know. I've been trying to do it with a shuttle. Not having much luck. Because you make a loop, 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 kind of thing, right? That's fine, we get that. But you start, you make a little bibble, you go up to the top, make a bibble, go around, make a bibble, get to the bottom. That's fine. The next one, you go up, join the last bibble, make half, get to the top, make a bibble, come around, make a bibble, get to the bottom. You repeat that until you get to the last one, where you go up, you join, you go round, you make a bibble, you come around. But now you've got to join the first one. But you're joining it on the other side. So because it's kind of in a line like this, you've got to twiddle and faff and fart around with it, and I keep screwing it up. Because at least with a needle, you can always pull the ends out if you've got them on the wrong side. With a shuttle, you've made a loop, and you're now screwed because it's, part of the loop. And, if you've managed to get it so it's twisted when you join it, then you've got half of it on the inside, half of it on the outside, and it can never work. I need a short biohazard break. I shall be right back. Back again. That's better. Thank you. feel right. Because it's not. Still doesn't feel right. It's because you aren't right somehow. You're good. Just doesn't seem right when I put the pin in. Now it's fine, of course. Of course it is. Obviously wanted its friends to come out and play. No. If you're going to come out, you need to come out. No. See, you don't feel right either. I feel like I've done a whole pile of these. Done something weird. Lizzie's cooking. Lizzie's really hot. When I checked my thermometer indoor thing, I'm going to check if it's got hotter or not, because it feels hotter. It's 23 degrees in here, which is warm. And the heating is not on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because it's set to cold. So, and I'm sitting here and I've got a thing that shows the gas running or not. And I can see that no gas has been used all day. So, it is not the heating. Now, I know this light gives off heat, which doesn't help. But it's still stupidly hot. 2. Yeah, I don't think it's that warm outside. That's inside. That's how warm it is in this very room. Apparently it's 23 degrees outside here. That'll be part of the reason then. I'm going to read you a very lovely, well, the start of a very lovely voicemail that arrived on my work phone, which basically I don't ever use. So, didn't answer it, not too surprisingly, because it's on silent. Now, I do need to point out that this is a transcription and translation of a voicemail. So I've only got the first bit, because it only translates the first bit. Now, I will point out, this is the translation of the Chinese portion. So it says, 1 Chinese, press 2. No need to be quiet, she only tongue jumping, but you yell jumping in your food and eat lunch on earth details. English service, press 1, Chinese, press 2. And in case you didn't believe me. The actual message plays, and well, actually, let me mute the music because I can probably play it actually. Where's the phone gone? Probably play it, so let's see if I can play it. Hang on.
One Chinese press 2。用户你好，你的电话因使用异常，将在今天停止本地数据。了解详情英语服务请按1，中文请按2。
Then.
Hello, dear user. Your phone number will be out of service today. For details, English service press 1, Chinese press 2. 用户你好，你的电话因使用异常，将在今天。
Needless to say, that's probably not what she said was as the written translation, but I did kind of enjoy the fact, because I get a number of calls to that phone, and clearly it is well, my phone was not out of order, so it's probably some level of spam. But the translation was worth a laugh. We all know that sometimes the direct translation is not good. And as I understand it, there's quite a few memes going around on the short videos kind of deal that goes about that seems to be the same shit on everything. Where there's like kind of young adult sitting opposite his slightly goofy younger brother by the looks of it, and he goes, so what's the Chinese for this? And he'll go, word, right? And what's the Chinese for this? And he'll go, word. And what's the Chinese for this? Word. Well, what about this? Word, word. And so he goes, well, how do you say this then? He goes, word, 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 right? And it is very, very true that the direct translation, obviously in a situation like that, if it's got so many different meanings, it's going to come out with all manner of weirdness, right? But yeah, I did love the English translation of the original Chinese. I thought that was good. I think it was Chinese. Well, it must be. And I am not with a Chinese courier, so I know that's not my... I don't even think my carrier goes, covers China directly, so I'd be surprised if they had enough Chinese people to... Well, welcome to what I call bobbing anxiety. The short answer is the little dots. Let me zoom in. Hang on. Dunk. Right, there are little dots. Ignore the ones in this bit because I didn't bother removing them. But these little dots tell you so these little dots tell me kind of what stitch I'm doing. So these show I'm making the little snakes down the side. This makes a motif, that makes a different one. The dots do a specific dance. Now, the truth of the matter is it doesn't dictate the dance, but it does mean that you should do the same dance each time you encounter that kind of dot, shield toad. So the truth of it is that right now I could do that dot there in the middle of the spider, so this little dot right at the end of my finger, and I could do the dot hiding under this thread here because I've got that pin. The pins work on 45 degrees, so if I wanted to fill that pin, let me make some space, right? If I wanted to fill in, let me get a pointy thing. If I wanted to fill in that dot there, I have to have fulfilled that dot and that dot. And until I do, I can't do that dot. So there is only a certain number of dots that you can actively work at any one time. And each dot, generally, is the dance of 2 pairs coming together. So from that, it's actually a lot easier than it sounds. Hence, I've got a pile of bobbins over here. And some of them, one of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay. That's right. I hadn't realised I was over them, not in the middle. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The reason I'm counting out 7 is because that's the best number that fits on a stick. So I can then pile them on a stick to keep them out the way because I don't need them for the next bit. So over here, I'm going to do this because this is pretty much, well, it is the only one I can do with any of these bobbins. So it's a lot easier than it sounds. Keeping track is definitely easier than it looks at first thing. But the one... Don't be. You never tie knots. Well, in theory, you never tie knots. So you can always undo it. It's a bit like crochet. You know, you've got a stick. If you hate it, you undo it. Same with knitting. If you hate it, you can always rip it, right? So, in lace making, there is 2 moves. Only 2. A bit like knit and purl. But unlike knitting where you've got make 1 and make 1 left and make 1 right and knit 2 and knit 3 together and no. There is only left over right or right over left. And they're called cross, left over right, and twist, right over left. That's it. There is no more to it. So if you can pick up one thing and place it over something else, you can do this. Will it take a long time? Yes. Yes, it will. Is it a really dumb hobby for me? Absolutely. Because I have no need for lace. I quite enjoy doing it for some reason. When you start off by making a little strip of a single stitch. And then you make another strip of a different stitch. And then you make and the different stitches are just crosses and twists. Either a different number of times, in slightly different places, in a certain order, you do certain things. But there really is, you can have a cheat sheet of all of your, the meanings of things. So if I was really, I should have written down a cheat sheet for the big one that I've just done. Because each time I come to do it, my brain has to go, how are we doing this? Because the way I did the first one seemed really bloody obvious. And then from here on out, my brain's going, why did I do that? Why was that a thing? But it was a thing, so now we have to do it for the rest of the curtain. And this is about 2/3 of the way through the first one. And I've got 7 strips to go, as you can see from the counter. So, basically, my own stupid fault. I'm not saying I got the first one wrong, but it seemed really, really sensible. So I did. And almost every time I come to do it now, my brain goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. And I almost have to pull it up on my phone and look at it and go, oh yeah, I remember. So I probably should do me a cheat sheet for that and write it down. Big motif means do this. I do my cloth stitch, which is undery ovary weaving style, a bit different to some. So in truth, the true cloth stitch goes cross, twist, cross. Now both pairs have crossed each other and you move to the next one and do cross, twist, cross. Move to the next one, cross, twist, cross. And now this has made its way out the other side. Me, because I am a former weaver, well, I still weave, my brain went, well, you can really trim that down a bit. So you do the cross, you do the twist. Now normally you'd do a cross. Well, so if I leave that there for a minute, well, the next move for the next one is to do another cross. So you do both of them together, and then you just keep going until you come out the other side. So that's my speed hack, shall we call it. The only problem is sometimes in the middle your brain goes, I don't get it, and then of course you're a bit screwed because you can't remember where you are. And then to make sure there's no loose threads, you just kind of give them a bit of a tug, and I do it all over again. Because with spiders, you cross everything over, and then you cross everything back again. A lady, I think it was a lady, posted a picture on Facebook the other day, and she had like this big bit of cloth stitch, which comes out looking like cloth, as the name implies. Her cloth stitch section. Now normally when you do cloth stitch, you've got a worker pair that goes backwards and forwards, doing the job of the weaving weft, right? Hers was ruler, spirit level straight. Normally you get a bit of a bow and a wiggle and it works out in the end. No, hers were absolutely, it was like she'd drawn them. It was frightening. Never seen it so good on anybody's. Don't know how she did it, to be honest. Because of course there's only so much stress you can put on a thread before it goes tink. So it's not like you can hang it, give it a because it won't take it, you know. Embroidery is a lot more complicated. Now I know obviously in theory with that it's either stabby up or stabby down, right? But there are a lot of different stitches, and some of it, if you've got a slightly neurospicy brain like I have, like a couple of us here can have, it's very difficult to, when you watch someone and they kind of almost random lengths, and so like the sort of satin fill-in stitch where they don't kind of do a row of like, I don't know, 4mm stitches and then another row of 4mm stitches. They do like randomness to make it fill out. Neurobrains don't like that. That's weird. And so there's lots of decisions to make in embroidery, and you know, do you do this? Do you do that? Do you Now don't get me wrong, there is a huge part of me that wants to do some. I've been feeling the pull, to the point, in fact, this morning, arriving in the post. But it was one of those things. I didn't say who, and there is at least one other person I can think of that is more spicy than society deems acceptable, you know. Not that spicy is wrong, but we are not average people. We are more spicy than that. So I know that it's not just me. Do not get me wrong. We all have our joys and pleasures and weaknesses and strengths. But it is one of those weird things, though, is that we also all have different things we'll be weird about. My house looks like a mess. My computer is the most immaculate thing in living history. To the point of OCD level of you know, analness. No. I was doing this, and someone actually posted on my YouTube channel that I should get checked for ADHD because I've got that like compulsion and it's like probably whatever. Because it was kind of like they'd left a bunch of messages kind of like moaning about it, and I said, well, you know, I'm not the one coming and watching it, you know, you have the choice not to. And it was like, yeah, but you do it. And it's like, well, yeah, no. I enjoy doing it mostly. There are swearing, there is swearing. All crafts have swearing in it. There is not a craft alive that does not involve swearing. If you can do a bunch of crafts and have never sworn, you are not human. It's like driving. Yes, you can drive without swearing. But more commonly you will. More commonly that idiot who's been indicating right for 6 hours suddenly turns left. Or, you know, stuff like that. Or the... Well, I think, like everything, you probably could. And I think... because it is as simple as lift a thing, place a thing, stab a pin in a hole, right? This hasn't got swearing in it. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Did you splice too many holes, split too many threads, and it lose cohesion? You'll find us generally all very sympathetic. You poked it too hard. Don't know what to say to that, to be honest. There's probably a YouTube video on what you can do there. Because you won't be the first. Well, this is the problem, isn't it? Oh, it's good for your mental health. Oh, it's good, it's relaxing. Seriously, have you tried half these hobbies? So, I do spinning, where you do this. Yeah, until it all goes off in your wheel, and then you've got to spend 20 minutes, and it's one of those ones. So there's inchworm, they have proper names, but inchworm and voodoo, where you just kind of let go and hope, right? Voodoo involves a lot of swearing and trying again, especially when you start. I weave. The ability to count 4 escapes me on pretty much every application. I need to do 200 ends. I've done 197. I think I'm going to, not that I've ever done childbirth, please do not take this the wrong way, but I think it's going to be like pregnancy and childbirth. In that, you know, when you first, the first bit to create it is a bit of fun. Great. Maybe if you go through the whole, you know, nausea and vomiting, maybe not so fun for this bit. Then you get to the fat as a whale bit where you just want the damn thing out. That's not fun either. Then you have the actual doing, which can be quite painful and traumatic. Well, in which case, again, not great fun. But once you've got your bundle of joy... Oh, wait, yeah, the sleepless nights and the nappy changing and the vomiting and the... But, you know, it is the... When you've got to the end of something and you look at it and go, oh, shut up, dog. When you go, you know what? I made that and I'm proud of that. It is quite rewarding to look at something and go, yeah, I did that. So, for example, a common example at this time, I wove this. Now, I designed it. And I made it. And it looks just like I intended. Halle frickin' Luya. It is... I've got loads of them. It is... But it is that kind of thing. Amy, will you shush? I don't care if the gardener dude's here. Assume it's the gardener dude. It's bound to be the gardener's hair. And he's probably going to be miffed because he can't park in my driveway. And it's not for me, so I don't care. The gardener dude was my gardener dude, and then everyone else used him because I'm not good at gardening. And he always parks in my driveway, which annoys the crap out of my dogs. But the guy he's doing every Friday has got enough spots for 7 people, but he parks in my driveway. The driveway he's working on is huge, obviously. It's a big open area with a garage. I'm going to guess... Yeah, it's the garden dude. And he's parked right outside the front of my house. Because he can't park on my driveway today. Because my neighbour's parking on it. Because I told her to. So yeah, it is very difficult sometimes with crafting because you enjoy it all, but there are so many things with weaving that can drive you up the wall. So that was was it 5 or 6 end? I think it was 6 actually. So I think it's 6 end satin, fine. So you've got the 6 at the front. That's easy enough. So you think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all you do. And then at the back, well, they're in groups. So you have the whole block of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a block. You keep them all together. You tie a knot around it. It's great. Now we don't need to be rickrolled. Thank you, Amazon. But you then get to a point where you've threaded the front 6 at the front. You've threaded, in my case, the 12 at the back. And then you go to weave something and realise you can't count to 6. And you're like, how? How did I not count 6? I needed 1 heddle out of a block of 6 in order. I mean, how hard can it be? The answer is real freaking hard to do right. And it just seems that there's, with all of our hobbies, is that if there's a way to mess up, you bet you we manage it. And it doesn't seem to matter how much we try to pay attention. It doesn't matter how much we count. We put markers in. We, all of these kind of things. Somehow, we still have the ability to screw it up. know, right? I mean, you know, we'd all learnt to do times tables and shit when we were like 7. So I want to do a thing at 6 ends and I want it 20 inches wide. Oh, I have to get a calculator to work that out. Why? You need 120. You know, it's there just seems to be this bit of you that when it comes to counting especially, how many people who have cast on a number of stitches greater than 20 have done it right first time? I'll wait for the hands, right? I mean, there's bound to be a couple, but not very often, right? You might do it like once in your lifetime. And it doesn't seem to matter how much you count, how many markers you put in. You can count that thing 6 times and get 6 different numbers. And you're left sitting there going, oh my God. And then you have like knitting patterns that go, increase every 6 stitches. Well, is that do 5 and increase on the 6th, or do 6 and increase on the 7th? Because it matters. This is where the autistic brain cells come in. It's not. If you want me to make one, tell me to make it between the 6th and 7th, or the 5th and 6th. Do not say increase every 6th. It's too vague. Because it doesn't sound vague till you think about it. And once you've thought about it, now you can't decide. And you sit there wibbling like an idiot going blah, 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 blah. Because your brain can't decide whether you need to do 5 or 6 now. Same with rows. Increase every 5th row. Was that on every 5th row? Or you do an increase and do 5 rows? Or is it you do an increase and on the next and that's the first row, and for the 5th row, so technically it's like it's only got 3 in the middle. I mean, can we be specific here? And then of course when it comes to crochet, is that UK or American terms? Because no one ever tells you whether it's UK or American terms. You have to work it out by looking at the picture. Yeah. But it is, they might as well write it in Egyptian hieroglyphs, right? Half the time anyway. And I can follow them. I know that feeling. Yeah. Or blankets. My speciality is blankets on the grounds that, well, as long as it covers my butt, I don't really care. Heck, it doesn't even have to have straight edges, you know. I am actually okay at knitting, but that's not the point. The principle of it doesn't have to be anywhere near perfect is always good for a blanket. I can't draw shit, so don't worry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I learnt the other day, it's relevant, that David Tennant, because actors often have to pick a new name if their name's already taken, picked Tennant because of Neil Tennant from the Pet Shop Boys, which I thought was rather cool. But then that also didn't make a lot of sense because James Masters, who played Spike in Buffy, there's also James Masters who played Cyclops in the X-Men film. Well, that's the same name. It's not even like one's, it's not like there's Richard Grant and Richard E. Grant. No. Both called James Masters. Well, that's confusing. Why have you still got a knobble in your ear? Why is your ear got like a spot on it? But it's not a spot. I love you dearly, Mr. Paws. Oh, it's apparently time to be hugged by the dogs. I know it's 5 o'clock. And you do not get to demand anything, young puppies. No, today's Nugget Day. It is, it's Nugget Day today. Look at your ear. I don't think there's anything actually wrong with it. Hello, Amy. You're a good girl. I do apologise, but that's as far as I can reach, so you'll have to bear with me. For I have one in the lap and one on the leg. You go get more, you're not missing anything other than me hugging the dogs, or rather, more accurately, me being forced to hug the dogs. What? Where's Dino? What have you done with him? Where is he? What have you done with him? Where's Dino? There he is! You've got Dino! Let me introduce Dino to everybody. Hello everybody, this is Dino. Yes, you've got Dino. Yes, you do. We ignored him for ages and played with hefflumps, but now we've gone back to dinos. Puppies. You're annoyings. You are. You're very annoyings. Yes, you are. I know Mr. Russ is out the front doing next door's garden when there's like 0.1 millimetre of grass to cut. They have it cut every week, and there's often literally nothing for the poor bloke to do. And it drives him up the wall. Because they're quite strict about when he can come and who's got to be there when he's there, even though he doesn't go in the house or anything. Doesn't have access to anything at all. Let's quickly run through you lot to pin you down a bit. Right, I borrowed some of you, so I need to return some of you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rory, oh, off you go. No, Rory, come on, off you go. No, I know, you're very lovely. Little man. What's the matter? What's the matter? Problem is every time I give you a small hug to cheer you up, your sister comes along and does her bull in a china shop routine. Yes, you do. Because Rory is all quiet and slow and peaceful, unless you've got clippers in your hand, in which case he's a growling bag of rage. Yes. Oh. I don't know what the matter is. I don't. Oh. Does Mummy do best ear scritches? Is that what it is? She does good ear scritches. Yes, I know. Yes, she does. She does. She does. I know. I know. What have you got on your head? Amy, you are not losing out. You've been sitting here getting hugs quietly. He has not. He was over the other side of the room being a good boy. Yes, you is a good boy. Come on, enough now. Let me finish doing this, for goodness sake. didn't finish doing this one. That's why that looks a bit funny. Actually, speaking of which, no, they don't have it. That's a shame. That would have been nice. That's not right. It's supposed to go in that hole. There you go. Which is also looking a bit weird. Yeah, something's not right. Something's not right. It's looking weird. Here. Because this should be pin. First of all, that's 2 fucking pins, which doesn't help. I'm terrible at picking up a pin. And that goes in that hole. No. Still looks weird. Time to get the camera out. I can't get close enough. So what I do is I take photos of it. The problem is getting close enough without blocking the light and seeing through the pins. So Yeah, there's something not right there. So, let's undo this. I can't show you what's wrong till we get back a bit more, so let's undo it a little bit. If you look, it doesn't have a joiny bit. Hang on. Don't suppose you can see it. Hang on. Tilt it up a bit. There isn't. Where's the pointy stick? There should be a line between this pin, and there ain't. So something went wrong here, or before here. And I think I know what it is. I'm going to need you. Give me. And you, apparently. It's as simple as we forgot to close a pin. Not quite sure how we forgot to close a pin. I assume Doggers interrupt us, but there we go. So, close the pin. Done that, idiot. Right, now we go down this way. Amy! One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put you away. Doesn't feel right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seems to be missing one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why you belong with these, and you two are crowding house there and can come live over here. We aren't going to do too much more, I'm sorry. Got the itch. Getting warm. So let's move you back a notch so I can see a bit better. Right. And for all of us British people, this should not be confused with the British spinners. Who were a folk group who do some wicked songs. Dear God, I should probably put a fan on. no worries. I'm about to log for the end of the day too. So, yeah, because I also need food. It is early for food, but I'm hungry and I haven't had much today. So, and I'm definitely feeling in the hungry side of life. So, I am going to call it quits actually right here. So, those of you who are watching, I'm going to see if I can find somebody to raid. Let me have a quick look. Let me have a quick look. Let's hide that. Let's go. See who we can go and play with instead. This one's playing Fortnite. Well, I'm going to go and drop in on someone who is crocheting, and I hope you'll stay around for a few minutes to say hello and let them introduce themselves. So let me fire up my end a bit better. Let's kill the music because I can't listen to that and do this and do that and think of other things. So if we go into here, I can then do that, and then we go hide that, kill them, and then we're going to go do this. So we're going to go and raid this guy. So yes, it's going to be a good raid. See you on the other side. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.